Hello.
Yes.
So it's the first week we've done in a long time, and it's not a musical.
Not a musical. All right.
What a doozy to choose from.
Oh,
to
yes.
start that non-musical.
Are you ready to speak some French very badly?
Well, you're talking to me. The play that we saw wasn't in French, but it was derived from a French text. I'm actually going to defer a lot to Olivia in this episode because I think she knows more about it than I do.
Oh, okay. That'll be interesting.
So, in fear of me butchering this straight from the off, we are heading to the National Theatre in this episode to review Les Liaisons Dangereuses.
He's much better at the French than I am.
And you are listening to A&O Review the Show.
A&O Review the Show.
Okay, so let's get stuck into the synopsis.
Okay.
And the first line I've stolen straight from the National Theatre website. So, this is very accurate.
All right.
Among the glittering salons of the super rich, patriarchy equals power. Reputation is everything. And for women, one misstep can mean ruin. Based on the classic novel Les Liaisons Dangereuses. Excuse my pronunciation. This stage adaptation follows two former lovers, the Marquise de Merteuil and the Vicomte de Valmont. This is going to be a challenging episode. Who amuse themselves within the decadence of pre-revolutionary French society by manipulating and seducing those around them. When Merteuil challenges Valmont to corrupt the virtuous Madame de Tourvel and seduce a young convent girl, Cécile de Valanche, their games of deception grow increasingly dangerous, or dangerous. But as real feelings begin to surface and reputations hang in the balance, their carefully controlled schemes spiral beyond their control, leading to betrayal, heartbreak, and devastating consequences for everyone involved.
You read that very well.
I just about survived the first 5 minutes, so that's a good start.
Well, as he said, the play was not in French. It was derived from a French novel from, I think, like the 1780s?
I believe it was the 1700s, yes.
That then was turned into a stage play in the 1980s and was so popular, it became a feature film, which...
In the 1980s.
In the 1980s, starring Glenn Close as Merteuil and John Malkovich as Valmont. And then it was adapted into a teenage version in 1999 called Cruel Intentions, which was my first introduction. Cruel Intentions had all of the big 90s stars, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Phillippe, Reese Witherspoon, Selma Blair. So it was, and then now they've revived it at the National Theatre.
National Theatre.
The stage play.
Okay, I have questions surrounding that when we get there.
Okay.
But this version has Aidan Turner.
It does, yes.
As the Vicomte de Valmont.
Yes.
Who's obviously the main heartthrob pull of the show.
Yeah.
And Leslie Manville as Marquise de Merteuil.
Yes, who's a powerhouse of an actress, done so many things. I have a little did you know is for, I mean, I could save it for later, but since we're talking about Leslie.
Since you're talking about it, go ahead now.
Yes. Leslie Manville was in the original stage show of Les Liaisons Dangereuses, playing Cécile.
Okay, well, there you go.
And in this version, she plays Merteuil.
So she's very, very familiar with the text.
Yes, she's extremely familiar with the text, so.
Okay, well, normally we would dive into our connections with this show. Mine's pretty short and sweet. I don't really have any connection with this play whatsoever or this story. So, although I did write in my notes, which we've already covered, I did believe it was a novel that turned itself into an 80s film that has since been put back on the stage. So
Yes.
I didn't know about the 90s Cruel Intentions thing, which really proves my lack of connection to the show. But for my penny's worth,
Yeah.
I am sticking only with the knowledge that I've gained from watching the play,
That's fair.
because I knew nothing going in, and to be honest with you, I was still questioning a lot of things coming out.
Yeah.
Your turn.
I mean, I've been through most of mine in terms of really my frame of reference was Cruel Intentions. My only other like little nugget of pop culture gossip that goes with it was there was a television show in like 2012 that I really liked called Smash. Was on NBC. It was about the making of a musical, and throughout that, one of the characters was an actress, and she was auditioning to be in a musical version of Dangerous Liaisons, and was auditioning to play Cecile. I don't. There was no music I heard from it.
Didn't
but
you say you studied the book at school?
No, I
No?
did not study the book at school.
Okay. That was just me
Did
imagining
you
it.
study the book at school?
No.
Okay. No. We did not.
It would have to be a translated version anyway. The original is just in French, but I did have a look earlier today. A set of letters.
Yes, it's a episcopal novel. I don't know if that's the right word.
Mind your language.
Sorry. Epistle of letter writing.
Right.
Yes, that's the word I want. But no, I think this book would have been too tart for my Catholic school upbringing. I don't know. But yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, not really major connections with this one.
So we're effectively going in fresh on this.
Yeah.
For the most part, although you have seen the 90s movie with Sarah Michelle Gellar and co.
I have, yes.
So I suppose that's kind of 10 things I hate about you, so I know Shakespeare. But
yeah, I mean, it is interesting because I obviously that was my first introduction to it, and it obviously is mean-spirited, and we're going to get into that a bit. But
how similar? Did you recognize the play from you watching the 90s movie?
No.
Okay, that's a good start.
Which, yeah, is a good start. Or if I did, I'd forgotten.
Okay.
Because then before we went to see it, I read a synopsis because I was worried I was going to get confused. And what I read mentioned that it then had the further adaptation in 1999 of Cruel Intentions. So yeah. Take it a step further, they then made Cruel Intentions into a musical as well.
Okay, that's going one step too far.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers here in pop culture. But no.
This is what happens when you let the French write 1700s literature.
But the only thing that twigged then was that the character of Cecile, she does share the same name in the Cruel Intentions, and then that twigged for me. But other people have a different name. I don't know. Be curious to go back and watch now that I've seen the original, so to speak.
Well, there you go. That's something to do one evening when you're bored.
Yeah, there you go.
So overall,
yeah,
and I know that this is a classic, and there's a reason why it's been brought back onto the stage. But to me, watching it as a bit of a Luddite, I suppose, it boiled down to effectively to a man winning over someone's wife for sport.
Yeah.
And then in the midst of that, there is a revenge plot. Yes. I was trying to remember this. I can't actually quite work out. I know they said it, but I can't quite work out the complexities of why this revenge was necessary. But there is a revenge plot, which, and I think saying this is even putting it too delicately, involves Valmont sexually assaulting young Cecile.
Yep.
And then emotionally manipulating Madame de Tourvel, who is married to some other member of the aristocracy who we only know by name. We don't see him.
Never see him ever.
And although Valmont, these names are going to be tricky, does appear to fall in love with Madame de Tourvel, or as much as I suppose you can as a member of the 1700s aristocracy, when breaking up with her using the word "it's beyond my control," in order to get in to Martul's bed.
Yes.
It's a very odd expression of love, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And one that I would say tortures both of them, but let's face it, it's probably torturing Torvel more than Valmont.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my initial thoughts running through it.
Yeah. I mean, all of that I agree with. It felt a very vindictive and manipulative story, which it was. You're watching these two people playing and dabbling and messing up other human beings' lives just for the fun of it.
And it's not really messing up other human beings' lives. I suppose there's a little bit of it.
It is.
But for me, it's more like messing up primarily women's lives.
Well, yes, that too. Yeah. Extremely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mainly, actually. Yes, you're right. I guess it kind of messes up Torvel's husband's life, but we don't see him.
Arguably, it messes up, and I have forgotten this character's name, but the younger guy that's meant to be Cecile's suitor.
Oh, Danceny.
That's the one.
Yes. I had to look that up earlier.
Now she gets to say the French name. So I suppose there is one non-female that has their life toyed with.
We should say also it was written to be like not poking fun, but to criticize that aristocratic class in France in that time period. That was its purpose.
And I do understand that, but that was in the 1700s.
Yes, 100%.
Not 2026.
Yes.
Which no longer has an aristocracy that quite features like that, and also is not French.
Yes. It's safe to say it did not land in, I think, its original way in 2026. I don't think it landed very well.
Yeah. And yeah.
And I mean, that...
To this point, just regardless of... And I guess the point is, they're aristocracy, but they're humans too, so they can fall in love even if they're playing around with each other in the same way that aristocracy doesn't care about other people. Both Cecile and Torvel's characters have terrible female role models.
Yeah, 100%.
They end up making them worse for it. Madame de Rosamond? The aunt.
Okay, Valmont's aunt, yeah.
I should have said that. Does warn Torvel about Valmont's behavior.
She does.
Because she knows what he's like. But she isn't all that forceful or helpful about it. She comes in when it's a bit too late, and even then, she's not really being all that helpful.
She doesn't do anything about it.
Basically, oh, well, my nephew is going to screw you up. Good luck.
Yeah. You just hate everyone by the end.
Mm-hmm.
You hate them all. It's like when we watch Succession. Like, no one had any redeeming quality by the end, really.
Yeah, and sorry, Madame de Torvel, I also didn't like you. You should have just left those rooms. The amount of times where they have awkward encounters, and I'm talking about Valmont and Madame de Torvel.
Yep.
Obviously, Valmont is trying to put this delicately, get into her pants.
Yeah.
And she's obviously married and doesn't really want to have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
She does the classic thing, and it happened over and over and over again on the stage, where she walked out of the room only to turn around and come back.
Yeah.
Just keep on walking, love.
Yeah. Just keep going. Like, don't turn back. Don't turn back at all. But yeah, it was, in terms of like, further what's kind of wrong with the play, for lack of a better word, before we get into acting and other things, I was just quite disappointed, like I said, that it obviously doesn't sit well now, but that this director, Marianne Elliott, didn't do anything with that. Like, they felt like there was no comment on its subject matter that was within the lens of today. Like,
if anything, it felt like a straight revival.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really, in my opinion, work very well when the piece you are reviving to refers to 1700s French aristocracy.
Yeah.
Because this is the problem. When I first sat down, not having any knowledge of this, I was sitting there going, oh, are they making a comment about the political situation, the alpha maleness?
Yes.
Or is it a Me Too moment? Or is it about misogyny or power? It took me quite some time to work out, oh no, this is just a comment on a bored aristocracy and what they do when they are bored.
Yeah.
Which ruins people's lives and their own, and effectively tells you that, hey guys, aristocracy is not that fun to be part of either.
Yeah. Ain't all it's cracked up to be.
Which is a lesson that, funnily enough, I will never need to learn.
Yeah.
So, not being French nor of the aristocracy.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I was disappointed that it didn't, and as a woman herself, didn't do more to like flip some of that narrative in the direction, in my opinion.
That's the thing. It probably could have been adapted.
Yeah.
Into something. But it wasn't.
No.
And it didn't have a purpose to entertain.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure, although we'll go into this a bit later, that it was exhibiting itself as an exquisite piece of art to appreciate.
Yeah.
So it was still a political comment piece because that's its source material, but it was a political comment piece about something that was completely irrelevant.
Yeah. Absolutely. It left you wondering why are we doing this now? Like, that was my big question. I was like, why, people who program seasons think about why they're doing certain pieces. Like, I just didn't think why we needed to do it now, why we needed to do it anymore. Really?
Yeah. It's a text that I'm sure is very historically important, but it's simply had its day.
Yeah.
Unless it's heavily adapted. And there might be something in there to be adapted. There's definitely a comment in there that could be established about the treating of each other between the genders.
Oh, yeah.
But it needs some heavy work.
That being said, the acting in it was pretty impressive. The cast were pretty impressive. They all worked together really well. The star casting was really spectacular. I see why Leslie and Aidan were cast in those roles.
Yeah, they say you can't put lipstick on a pig, but Aidan Turner and Leslie Manville is one heck of a lipstick duo.
Yeah, yeah.
And their performance were excellent. And to be honest with you, and I point those out, everybody on stage was
excellent.
Excellent in terms of their performance, and they were the only things that kept me coming back after the interval. And I say that because there were definitely people in front of us that did not return after the interval.
Left in the interval, yeah. That's very true. And it was, I haven't seen any other versions or the film, so I don't know if Myrtle is normally played by a slightly older actress.
I've been reading that that's new.
Oh, that's new. Okay. Well, I thought that was really really interesting dynamic to it, to have her be a bit older than everyone else. And Leslie played it so beautifully and so well.
Well, it does enhance. This is the one theme that I kind of picked out about her character.
Yeah.
Was that she's obviously giving off this idea that she knows how the world works. She sat quietly in the corner and observed the world. And thus that gives her power as a woman in aristocracy that you wouldn't ordinarily gain. Yeah. What she doesn't realize until the end of the play is that having knowledge doesn't necessarily give you control.
Yeah.
So she tries to keep control of everything with the comfort that she knows everything.
Yeah.
But in actuality, she's losing control, and at the end, she also loses her reputation in one of Leslie's most poignant parts of her performance, where she walks off the stage into the audience and out the audience door.
Yeah.
And you can see in her face and her posture, it's just oozing with that what she's lost feeling and reflection on it and what do I do from here?
Yeah. That's her moment of like ruin where it all like falls apart.
And I could not take my eyes off her.
Yeah.
There was a whole cast up on stage. I was not interested in that. I just couldn't take my eyes off Leslie.
She was magnetic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Aidan, was so, I mean, he played the role in such a great way, and I think it's set, not only is he a talented actor, but like to have a star who is that popular and that well liked by the public, and have him play such a dastardly and evil character makes you sit really uncomfortably, but also makes you want to watch him.
I didn't want to watch him with the Cecile.
Oh yes,
that was very uncomfortable.
That was extremely uncomfortable.
Where he effectively forced himself on her.
Yeah.
In a very sort of old school Sean Connery era James Bond moment.
Yes.
But yeah, that was a bit uncomfortable. And let's face it, the audience were disappointed that he did have his shirt on and no scythe.
Yes.
For all of them.
There was this thing
out there.
Too much shirt. That's what I mean.
Too much shirt.
There was too much shirt.
And not enough scythe.
And he was obviously filming Rivals when they took the promo image, because he has his horribly 80s mustache in all the promo images. But sadly to say, ladies and gentlemen, he does not have the mustache in the show. Really sorry to disappoint.
And that transitions me very nicely into the aesthetic, because, and I wasn't going to raise this first, but now we brought up Aidan Turner's 1980s mustache from Rivals.
Yes.
So, it's a 18th century play, or 18th century text.
Yeah.
And it's all dressed up beautifully in 18th century costume wear.
Sure.
But the mirrors, which were the primary set, felt a bit 1980s.
Yeah.
When they pulled out the mirror boxes, which turned into small pieces of wall, the wall and the lighting scones,
yeah,
felt very 1980s.
Yeah.
And there was a big chandelier in the middle. I'm not really sure that kind of does fit into any sort of era. It was very underutilized, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And there is some sort of classical artwork around the top. I'm ignoring that because that doesn't really come down until right at the end of the play.
Yeah.
So is this a thing where, because the play was suddenly popular in the 1980s, they decided to hark back to it? Because if so, why?
Maybe. That's a great question. But yeah, it did. You're right. It did feel quite 80s in a lot of ways, but then was kind of juxtaposed with this 18th century kind of.
Yeah, there was nothing 21st century about any of it.
No, it was all.
It was all either 18th century or 1980s.
Yeah. I mean, those were the two kind of time periods that the story has had life in, so maybe they were drawing on that. But again, it didn't say anything about this day and age that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Do that.
And I wasn't a big fan of the mirrors.
Okay.
I found, at best, they were distracting. So there was a case where Aidan Turner and Leslie are speaking downstage, and my eye kept flicking back to the back of the stage because they were doing a sudden movement, and obviously I see them doing a sudden movement, but the corner of my eye would catch another movement reflected in a mirror.
Yeah.
And also, a light shone into it and straight into my eye at one point, so that was unpleasant too.
For context, the stage is set up in a kind of traditional proscenium arch, and so the three kind of the two sides and the back of the stage from about, 10 feet up and down, like from the middle down to the stage floor, are covered in mirrors, and they open and close as doors and entrances to the stage, but they cover the entire thing, so you as an audience member, if you're close enough, can see yourself in the mirror. So that's why it so if it catches any light, it can be quite distracting in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you weren't a fan of the mirrors? I
wasn't a fan of the mirrors.
Okay. How about the Death Star chandelier?
As I said, I don't really know what I made of the Death Star.
There was a giant circular chandelier that hung in the middle of the stage. And at one point, I do think lowered down and then back up again, and had little, they weren't real candles, but little fake candles on it. So like it was a giant kind of weird candelabra. But yeah, it was this big sphere that kind of reminded you of the Death Star. So yeah. So you weren't sure you were a fan of that either?
I'm not sure I was overall a very big fan of that, I'm afraid.
Okay. I mean, in terms of things I did like about that, I mean, I did like a lot of the set was kind of gray and muted, but then they used these costumes that were these vibrant, bright, bold colors, and Myrtle being dressed in red for a lot of it as kind of her power color, her power move, I thought was beautifully done. They just looked like beautiful fabrics that were used, and then they were accentuated by the fact that there was all this choreography in the piece, which I know you and I disagree on.
We do disagree on choreography.
But I thought the choreography was excellent, and I thought it did do something for me to expand the story of the show and kind of illustrate some of the delicate sexual moments in the show, and also act as a symbol throughout it. Like there were several moments, like when Madame Tourvel is kind of succumbing to her love for Valmont, and she's thinking about him, and she's surrounded by male dancers on stage, and they're all wearing the same outfit, which is a la Valmont's outfit, so they're all meant to be Valmont, and kind of carrying her through this thing as she's experiencing kind of her thoughts about him.
This is my very problem with it. So first of all, that's the only piece of choreography that I felt was of any consequence.
Okay.
Maybe, arguably, apart from the second time they decide to do something like that, but in reverse towards the end, where there are 3 subplots all happening at the same time in the midst this
that
choreography.
Was quite confusing,
and I don't know what the heck I'm meant to look at. You know, it turns out that Valmont is being tortured by the thought of Madame de Dorval.
Yeah.
And he is he's also having a fight.
Yeah, yeah.
With knives.
Yeah.
Madame de Dorval is also trying to fight for her own life.
Yeah, she's gonna go
dying of like
crazy.
Yeah, dying of madness.
Yeah.
By the way, her husband is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
And whilst all of this choreography is happening, and I'm not quite sure whether I'm meant to look at inner turmoil, knife fight, or madness killing.
Yeah.
I was noticing a lot of people coming at Valmont. I did not realize that they were meant to be premonitions of Madame de Dorval until Olivia told me, because there was so much going on that, like, they were wearing a white-coloured version of her dress from early on, and it wasn't.
It was the same color. It was the same outfit.
It was not enough for me to notice.
Okay. Well, yes, they did it in reverse, where then he's thinking about Tourvel, and there are like multiples of her dancing around him. But it is very confusing, as you said, because that there are like 3 different things happening on stage, and it's like, what am I supposed to be looking at right now? So yeah,
I was not impressed.
no. So, but there's a lot of like cyclical actions, I guess, in the direction like that. And also, I mean, you said you hadn't really noticed this either, but there's the opening scene. They're at like a ball or a dance, and they're all dancing, and Myrtle kind of pulls Cecile out of a crowd, and kind of it's almost as if like she, you know, kind of claims her to be like the person she's going to help bring up in society. And Myrtle's wearing red and Cecile's wearing white. And then at the very end, when Cecile kind of rises up in society and kicks Myrtle out of it, they repeat the same dance, except Cecile's now in red, and Cecile now has the mask on, and she then kind of picks a girl out of the crowd, and that's kind of how it ends, as if to say, like,
Yeah,
it
but
just
that
continues.
is all so out of the blue. And also her story, Cecile's, is very different for
It
the one
is,
that
yes.
Myrtle tells about her own backstory.
Yeah.
That to call it a cycle that continues, I would say, is a very liberal use of the word circle.
Okay.
But anyway.
I understood it as that. That was my opinion, but you know.
Sure. So, overall, I will say it's not the worst thing I've seen,
No.
but I can't say it was relevant.
Yeah.
I can't say it was interesting unless you're a fan of the text or the history.
Yeah.
And I'm sad to say I'm not sure there's enough in the performance itself to call it a piece of art.
Okay. I mean, I enjoyed the performances. I can see why. Like, there were some quite meaty scenes between Myrtle and Valmont that I can see why, like, as an actor, that might be really, like, they would be good scenes to have, especially between the two of them. But again, there's so much terrible stuff that happens in this play, and it didn't sit well for me in this time period, and it did nothing to try and change it for this time period or comment on it or acknowledge that.
I think it took sexual and emotional abuse way too casually.
Yes,
and
100%.
did not explore it.
No, did
which
not
was part of the reason I knew it was not one of the themes they were looking at, or if they were looking at it, they clearly didn't do it well.
Yeah, agreed.
And I find that disturbing nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's not even a point made that it's not looking at it.
Yeah.
Because it's too caught up in the aristocracy issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, I know the story was popular in the 80s, but things have come a long way since the 80s.
Oh, they
That's
have.
40 years ago.
Yeah.
I was not walking on this earth 40 years ago.
Yeah, neither was I.
Mm.
So you wouldn't go back again?
No.
Yeah. I'm not sure I would either.
I am still slightly curious as to what it was doing in the 1980s, because it wasn't really making a comment on 1980s aristocracy or society either.
Maybe we should watch the film?
I'm good. I think there are better 1700s texts, so
Yeah.
I'd enjoy over that.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, okay.
Okay.
Is that all you have to say on it? Would you see it
I
again?
think so. No, I don't think so.
Mm.
Yeah. Sorry, Aiden, it wasn't quite enough to make me go again.
Yeah, too much shirt, Aiden. That's the problem.
Too much shirt.
And I'm sure she wasn't the only way. Only one that's thinking this. Okay. I was just going through to my last bit. I just came across one of your notes. Why have I got snog, marry, avoid written here?
So you know how you said you were going to come up with a special bit? You came up with a special bit, but I had also kind of thought of a special bit.
Okay.
And this was my special bit that I was going to have you play Snog, Marry, Avoid, and I was going to give you 3 characters.
Oh, easy. I'd avoid them all. They're all awful people.
Okay, so you don't want to play.
No, I play with the peasants.
Guys, he doesn't even want to play ball with my game. Goodness. All right, well, what did you come up with?
Okay. So I actually
notes.
found this week quite difficult to come up with something.
Yeah, which is why I came up with something too.
Such a play, such as Liaisons Dangereuses. It's also very difficult to do snog, marry, avoid when you're actually probably focusing a lot on the characters. Let's face it, none of them have really got personalities that I'm going to go for, so it's all going to be aesthetic. But put a pin in that for now.
That's part of the point of Snog, Marry, Avoid, but sure.
Yeah. So I decided to turn to the world of Reddit this week.
As you do.
And wondering, in the 1700s, considering the challenges that Aidan Turner has to try and woo a married woman,
Sure.
You've got to think of those techniques of what you would do in the 1700s in order to do what he'd managed to succeed in.
Yeah.
And woo a lady in jest.
Yeah.
So, someone else on the wonderful world of Reddit was challenged to come up with the best 1700s pickup lines.
Oh, boy.
There was an excellent one for the 1800s, but that did not fit in this theme.
Oh, boy.
And was also a little rude. Although
I'm
first
sure
round, a little
most
rude.
of these are going to be rude.
So, I just want from you a rating of 1 to 10.
Okay, 1 being bad, 10
1 being
good.
bad, and 10, I'd go for it. Go for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So, those are exquisite pantaloons, and they would look even more appropriate on my chamber room floor in the morrow.
Let me give that a 4.
Okay, that's below 5. That's not a good start.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't decide if it's going to get better or worse for me.
Neither can I. Believe it or not, there weren't a huge amount of responses to this.
Okay.
My heart is Baroque. Can you fix it?
I think I have to give that a 7 just for the use of a pun.
Wasn't a bad pun.
Yeah, it was not a bad pun. It was pretty good.
I am so not going to be able to get through this next one. Pray tell, are you by some chance kin to the French emperor? For it amazes me that you have Bonaparte from me all our lives.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. That's a 1. No.
Okay.
Sorry. That was terrible.
I've got one more.
Okay.
I actually quite like this one.
Okay.
I think we can use this one in the 21st century, everybody. So be prepared for this one.
Listen up.
Hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, you're a baker's dozen.
Okay. Yeah. We'll give that a 7 too.
A 7? Okay, that's as good as it's getting.
That is as good
1700s
as it's getting.
pickup lines, clearly not as effective as...
The baker's dozen is a 1700s pickup line?
What, this was in the thread.
Okay. I think Baroque was more
You
appropriate.
preferred Baroque.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll give Baroque an 8.
I'm not entirely sure that it should be pronounced that, but it's the only way it works. Baroque.
Is it Baroque? But I mean, yeah.
Would you have referred yourself in the 1700s as being Baroque? It's kind of like saying that we lived in the Elizabethan period when we were living under Queen Elizabeth. It's something you kind of do retrospect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all about the style. It's all about the style.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, sorry guys, I didn't give you any any great 1700s pickup lines.
No,
But
there's always next week.
if there's always next week, there's always next century.
Yep. There you go.
Do you want to wrap this up?
Yeah. Let's wrap it up. But yes, I believe Les Liaisons Dangereuses.
Okay,
Sorry,
don't feel so bad now.
that's terrible.
Les Liaisons Dangereuses.
Les Liaisons Dangereuses. There we go. Is playing at the National Theatre. And yeah, I think you can still check it out for at least a couple more weeks.
I actually put the date there.
Oh, did you?
You're just not looking.
I was handy. I'm not looking.
It's right at the top.
Right at the top.
Till the 6th of June.
Till the 6th of June. There you go. Right there. Sorry. My bad. It's on at the National Theatre till the 6th of June if you'd like to check it out for yourself.
And until next time, we'll, keep well, be happy, subscribe.
Yep.
And
Thanks for listening.
thanks for listening. Ta-ra!
See ya.
And review the show.